students, this is Veena from the Department of English, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. Today we are going to talk about the techniques of reading skills. Before we start, let us once again brief what is reading skill and what is the importance of reading skills. Reading skills help us in making us good and fluent in language learning, especially in English. That will help you in developing your communication skills. Now, what is that reading will make you fluent and make you efficient in communicating the language? It will expand your knowledge. It will expand your thinking skills. It will help you add new words to the dictionary of your day-to-day language skills so that you can utilize new words which you have read and develop your communication skills. Now, there are some techniques which will surely help you to become expertise in reading skills. Today, we will discuss about those techniques which will help us and which will make us stand in this global market with good communication skills and good acquisition of knowledge. Let us start. Now, what is reading skills? As I briefed, it is the great habit which can change us significantly. The ability is to read is as important today as it is ever. It can entertain us, it can amuse us, and it can enrich us with knowledge and experiences narrated. Now let me explain you in detail. It will entertain us in the way of making ourselves relaxed, composed, calm, and also gives us soothing experience while we start and make it a habit to read. And amuse us. What is that amusing? That means it will make us feel surprised, making us knowing the new facts around us. It will give exposure to the new things happening around us through our reading of so many books. That is nothing but extensive reading will help you in gathering lot of information which will surprise you, which will motivate you, and which will make you stand in this global market with good communication and with great knowledge. Next comes enrich us with knowledge and experiences. What is that? Is experience. How can we take the experience of somebody's as example? Of course, we can do it. The experiences, the knowledge, the experiments, the advancements which were created, which were done through many people will motivate us and surprise us and also give us that critical thought to make our abilities enhance and become more better. Now, we read for two reasons. What are those two reasons? One is for pleasure and the other is for work or study. Most of us these days, we are only doing the reading part for study. We are not at all reading it for pleasure. But once, if you get the habit of reading, it will give you a lot of pleasure. It will soothe your life. It will make your life very calm and also composed. It will help you in enhancing your skills of speaking, reading, listening as well as reading. So, you will become fluent. You will have the good knowledge of pronunciation of the words. You will add new words to your dictionary and also expand your knowledge. So, therefore, reading skills will help you in many ways. So, try to start the habit of reading from today. Now, let us talk about the techniques. What are the techniques which will help us in developing our reading skills? How is that these reading skills will be helpful to us? In what way? If we don't have much time, if we cannot spend more time with our books, What is that? What are those techniques which will help us read the books and also develop our knowledge in the way of pronunciation, in the way of communication, in the way of expanding the knowledge? Now, we generally have 4 kinds of techniques of reading. First one is skimming. Next one is scanning. The other one is intensive reading. And the last one is extensive reading. I repeat, skimming, scanning, intensive reading and extensive reading. Before I start in details of skimming and scanning in this video, I will just brief you about the 4 techniques. Skimming is knowing the important points in a quick manner. You will be reading the text fast, but you will have the main idea of the content, and as well as the content's necessities you will be understood, and the conclusion. That means fast-paced reading, but acquiring the introduction, the body and the conclusion of the content will be read through skimming. Now, what is the scanning? Scanning is nothing but you will be looking for some particular entity in the content. For example, dictionary. Dictionary is very vast. It is filled with so many words. But when you open a dictionary, you will look for one word. That is scanning. That means your focus is on one particular word. You are going to focus on that particular word instead of all the other information provided in the dictionary. That is nothing but scanning. Then, intensive reading. Intensive reading is the reading which is done intuitively, in a deeper way, with all the necessary entities, with all the necessary understanding, slowly and in a step-by process to acquire the complete knowledge about the content, whatever we are going to read. Then extensive reading. Extensive reading is nothing but reading beyond what is needed. That is moving out of the box. If somebody has told you to prepare a note on some topic, you are not confining your research of making content of that topic on one stream. You will move out of the box. You will try to sort out many things around you to find the content relevant to it. Extensive reading. It is nothing but broad reading in a very broader sense. So, these are the 4 kinds of reading techniques which will place you in the right place and also help you in a way of good pronunciation, acquiring good knowledge of words, along with the good knowledge from the books. We are going to read in detail about the 2 techniques, skimming and scanning, through this video. Now, what is skimming? Let us talk about it in detail. I don't have time. I'm very busy. But I have to find out the information of a particular content in detail. So, skimming here helps you out. Skimming is reading for gist of the text. That means you have to know all the important points of that content. So, this is the technique is used for you to help and find out the gist from the text. So, skimming helps you here. You can read first 2 lines and to find out what is the introduction of that content, in what way it is introduced to you, in what way they are going to follow or process more. Next, you will read some 3 or 4 lines in between the content, that means in the body of the letter or body of the article, the main points on what the content is speaking to you and what the information is provided to you. And finally, you will read the last paragraphs to get a concluding part. So here, from skimming like this, you will get the gist of the story, the summary of the story. Many of them do this. If in a textbook there is a lesson with 4 or 5 pages, what do? We try to read first 2 paragraphs to find out what is what. Then we will, in between, we will just skim here and there to know the main points, what are discussed, what are told, what are expressed in that particular story or article or any editorial. Next, we'll go to the conclusion part. There, we'll find out how the reader or the poet or the dramatist has concluded that part of that lesson. So, very clearly, skimming is the process of reading for the gist to get the information from that particular content. Now, the gist of whole text lead. Now, mostly if somebody asks you to render a story, which you have read already, what do? Do you tell entire story in step-by-step procedure, in line by line as you read? No. We will clearly try to explain them the gist, the summary of that particular story. Skimming is nothing but that text which will give and provide information about the complete information of that particular content. Therefore, skimming will be very helpful to you in doing extensive reading when you have no time. So, try to use this technique to improve your reading skills. Then what is that more about? It is the preview of a passage. That means you are analyzing the view of a passage before reading the complete information about that passage. That means it is your preview, your information that you have gathered on a very slow note or on a very purposive note with the conclusion. So that is what is your skimming. Then it is used to quickly identify the main ideas of a text. What is the importance? What is the need? What is the usage of skimming technique? How is that is used? What is that? It is used to quickly identify the main ideas. That means if you want to gather all the main ideas of a content, make a quick look over those sentences, attain those main ideas and form a gist of the story. So, skimming technique is useful in that manner. Next, skimming is done at a speed 3 or 4 times faster than the normal pace. So, we can do it 3 or 4 times faster. That is, you are not reading it slowly. You are not trying to understand each and every word. You are not trying to analyze each word or find out the meaning. You are just reading the text once, twice, thrice and fourth in a very fast pace. But still acquiring the main ideas from the content which is given. That is what is your skimming technique. Now, it is reading for the gist of a text. What is the gist? Gist gives the general meaning or purpose of the text. That means whatever is the story, you will get a moral from that. From that moral, you will understand what are the characters, how the characters are related to each other, and what is the moral or the conclusion given by the characters. That's all. So, it is giving you the content of idea in a very formative and in a summary manner. You don't need to step by step read each and every line, read each and every word, but try to focus on the pronunciation of the words when you read. That is the very important aspect each reader has to understand and remember while reading. Because if you go on reading but still not concentrating in the correction of sounds, in the correction of the vocal elements which are necessary for improving your pronunciation skills, that will be useless. So, try to focus on the words pronunciation and try to focus on knowing the meaning of that words. Whenever you do reading, whatever technique you use, keep in mind, try to focus on the pronunciation, on the modulation, on the accent of the language. Then only you will be improving your communication skills. Then it will be helpful to you in your writing skills and also helpful to you in your speaking skills, which is the very, very important aspect for the engineering students. to stand up in the global market. So I suggest you to do skimming, but with all the concentration on the pronunciation of the words and also accent of the language. Next. Now, skimming is speed reading technique used whenever we need to do, whenever we have some time, whenever you want to know the gist, whenever you want to gain information about something, but you don't have time, you can use it. So, online reading you can do, skimming you can do through online mode, because we have social platforms which provide lot of information about many kind of things, many subjects out of the box. Extensive reading can be done through skimming. So these are all the helpful entities of skimming. Now, what is the process of skimming? How do we skim the text? What is the process? What is the procedure to learn this technique? Point 1. Step 1. To skim text, start by reading the first paragraph entirely. Often the main idea of articles is given in the introduction. Step 1. Your step 1 is try to read the first paragraph. Why first paragraph? Because whatever you are reading, whether it is a newspaper, whether it is an article, whether it is a story, whether it is a drama, whether it is a poem, the poet or the writer or the dramatist or an artist, anyone will try to give introduction in the first paragraphs. So, reading the first paragraph will help you in gaining the proper introduction of the content, whatever you are reading. So, that is your step 1. Next comes your step 2 of skimming technique. What is that? Move on to the first 2 sentences of the paragraph, as topic sentences are usually placed at the beginning of paragraph. So, first 2 sentences, you will be concentrating it and you will be understanding them to get the full knowledge about the content. Next, read the last paragraph in its entirely as closing paragraphs. So, first you are reading the first 2 sentences, then you will go about and read the body where 2 or 3 main lines which spoke about the content. Then you will be reading the last paragraphs where the writer or the artist or the poet, whoever it may be, they will be concluding or giving you some information or teaching you some moral in that particular context. So, here you will do the process of skimming. Step 1, you will be reading the paragraph 1. Step 2, you will be reading the body and just knowing the few lines from it and attaining the main idea from it. And the last paragraph, you will conclude knowing the important events from the text. So, this is the process of the skimming which you have to practice for better reading skills. Now, comes scanning. Scanning is another speed reading technique. Skimming and scanning, both are speed reading techniques. But skimming is acquiring the information incomplete through the gist of the content. But scanning is different from that skimming. How? It is that useful for people who is learning English online and where you have to find out specific information. Scanning is used when you need specific information about some content. Whatever the book is, how many ever the pages are, if you need an information for something, you will be opening to that from the index, know the page number, open the page number and reading the text from that particular page only. That is called scanning. For example, dictionary is one of the example for your scanning the text. You don't have time, you need to know the meaning of a bird. But there are many other words in the dictionary. Your concentration is not at all on them. Your concentration is only on one particular word. And you are going to acquire information about it at any cost. So, there where your scanning techniques will be useful. Next, scanning is a technique you often use when looking up a word in the telephone book or dictionary. Even to know the numbers, you refer the telephone directories where you will skim for some so you will scan some particular name and you will identify the particular number and you will just call that person. You will not go on ringing each and every phone number from that directory, isn't it? That is what is scanning. You will be looking for particular words. You will be looking for particular phrases in the technique of scanning. Scanning is very, very useful when you are searching for particular content on a particular platform. If you are going to present a presentation, you need some information. So very quickly you scan through those documents which will give the information. You are not bothered about all those documents which have lot of information. You are bothered about only one particular information which is present in some number, page number. So that is where your scanning techniques will be useful. So scanning and skimming both are the fast reading techniques, but they are different from each other. Now, an excellent example of scanning text is dictionary, as I already told you. Then you will be going through the words, you will finding out the specified word and you will use it for your knowledge. So, skimming, scanning are both techniques which will be using in the learning of good communication skills and also improving your writing skills and as well as your speaking skills. Next, while scanning a text, our eyes need to move quickly, isn't it? We cannot keep calm. We cannot just look it slowly. We have to, the process of scanning, as we learned, process of skimming, the process of scanning is quickly move your eyes and try to scan the word whichever is useful to you or the phrase or the content which is really important to you and then take the essential information from it. Scanning, you have very simple technique and simple procedure. Pick a particular phrase or a particular content or a particular information, whatever is needed to you, have a grip over it, scan through the text and acquire it from that. So, skimming and scanning are going to be very, very useful techniques to you in reading information. As future professionals, you have to develop this skimming and scanning technique because you will not have much time to prepare for your presentations or write your articles for the journals or editorials or your publishers. You will have no time. So, these two techniques, skimming and scanning, will surely help you in your long run of learning good communication skills and also presenting yourself in a well-built professional on the global market. Okay? So, I suggest all the students to learn these two techniques. Now, what is the difference between the skimming and the scanning? Skimming is look for important information without reading the whole text. Looking for the information, but we are not reading the text. Whereas scan, answer right their questions. That means for some question, you want a particular answer. So just scan, find out that right answer, just leave it. So that is the difference between the skimming and the scanning. Next, preview text features. That means it will give a preview idea of the text, whatever you are reading. Whereas scanning is find a keyword or a number in the question. So, how will you find out if there is a question, if there is an article, if there is a passage on cow, for example. So, what does a cow eat? It eats grass. So, you what is your question? What is that cow is eating? What does it like? What is the food for the cow? Any kind of question they may ask you. So, what will you do? Eat. Eat is your particular word or the phrase, whatever is needed to find out the answer. You will look for that word and find the answer from the passage. So, quick analysis of the text and scanning the particular word and answering. That is what is your scanning. Next, read the first sentence of each paragraph and last paragraph. You will be reading the first paragraph, last paragraph, just 2 or 3 body lines of the body. Then you are acquiring the entire knowledge or the information about that particular context. But whereas in scanning, you will move your eyes quickly across the text until you find the keyword or a number. So once you find it, you will try to understand it and answer to that particular problem, whatever you are having. Then, who, what, when, where, why, and how. Who? Who is the person talking in the text? What is that he is talking about? When does it happen? Where does it happen? Why does it happen? And how is the solution given to that particular problem? Skimming will address who, what, when, where, why, and how. All the gist of these 6 common entities will be addressed through skimming. So always try to see that when you skim a text, understand the gist depends upon who, what, when, where, and why, and how. Then scanning, look for the answer of the keyword. Here scanning, you will only remember one thing. You will find the answer for particular problem or for meaning for the particular word or any kind of particular text. You will find a phrase, acknowledge them and understand them, grasp them from that particular passage. Your quick eyes movement will scan the answer and give you the answer. Here you are not reading any other entities or not reading any other information which is projected in the text. But however, both of them are the fast reading techniques which will be very, very useful to the students, which will also make them good learners in fluency, acquiring fluency, accuracy, understanding, interpretation, and gathering all sort of knowledge to improve their reading skills. Now, how? What is the best way to improve your speed reading techniques? Skimming is used to determine the main idea. So, you should do as follows. What are the things we are going to do? At first, it is important to pay attention to the title. Yes, as we discussed, we will first read the title and try to understand what is its importance. Then first paragraph, it can give you general understanding to the topic. I am repeating it for you once again so that you will have good understanding about skimming. Then you read quickly through topic sentences and concluding sentences of each paragraph. Step 1. Try to read the topic, understand the importance of the topic. Step 2. You will read the first 2 lines of your content, whatever it is, and understand on what it is based. Then step 3. You will be getting the information from few lines which are in the body, which explains about the main idea of the text. Then you will go to your step 4. That is, you will read the concluding part to get the gist of that particular text on grounds of who, where, when, why, and how. So, all this information will be read by them and it can be gathered in a very, very fast pace. So, skimming helps you in this manner. Next, it also helps you see the relationship of said arguments. How? When some argument is given in paragraph 1, you will go to paragraph 2 to skim the text. There you will try to find out the relation between the paragraph 1 and the paragraph 2. You will be able to find out the connection between the different formats of the text there, so that in a very fast pace you are able to understand. Continuous practice of skimming will surely enable you as a good reader in acquiring knowledge in the sense of gathering lot of words, gathering lot of information, and also expanding your knowledge in various levels, but in a very less time. So always remember, the concluding sentences will give you good information about the knowledge of the given text and also help you in framing your own interpretation or suggestion of that particular text. In research, in research methodologies, this is the most important reading technique which is very, very useful to you all in your publishing in articles or journals. This is the very, very important technique which you have to imbibe for yourself and inculcate to practice. Make a practice, make an habit to skim the text, skim the books, skim the journals, skim newspapers, so that you gather a lot of information along with gaining the knowledge of the subject and also improving your communication skills. Next, scanning. It is actually something you do quite frequently. We don't actually notice it, but we do it frequently. Whenever some question and answers are given to us, what do? If a question is given to you by a teacher to find out an answer, you will just read that question. You will try to understand what the question is asking about, and you will just turn the pages, look for the phrase which is the connection to the question, and find out the answer. That is what is your scanning. Unknowingly, we all have the habit of scanning. Only thing is, you don't do it wantedly. You do it in a fast pace just to know the answer or grasp the answer from that particular area, as you don't have time. So what you do? You just reach out to the particular phrase or verb or any kind of meaning of a word. You will just look for that word, find out the answer and finish it up. That is your scanning. So these two techniques are very, very helpful to you in making you better in reading skills. Now, especially see here, scanning. Very high speed reading. What you scan, you have questions in mind. You don't need to read every word, only words that answer your question. Here, you are not going to read the entire text. You are going to read only particular text where your phrase of matching is matched. That's all. Then you'll pick that word and answer to the question. That is what is your scanning. Now just follow these steps and do it slowly. They are very, very important in improving your reading skills. First one, you may be used to reading every word and may find awkward leaving some words out. When you apply these skills, you should learn to forget your old reading habits. Don't be afraid to try to overlook some words when you are skimming or scanning. Many students have this habit. Before examination, they will go on, turn the pages to see, did I miss something? Did I do something? Did I miss any content? No, don't worry. Just have an idea. Have the gist of the content what you have read. During examinations, this will be the most useful technique for you to learn the subject. Remember, I repeat, skimming is the most useful technique to prepare for your examinations. You don't need to sit and read the entire textbook for your examination, wasting your time. Just skim the text. Understand the topic. Understand the content. Know the importance of the content and know the use of the content and how to apply it. Try to focus on these main points. Who, when, where, why, how. That's all. That gives the gist of the content, whatever you are going to present in your examination paper. So, you can use the skimming technique while reading or preparing for your examination. This will be the most useful technique for all the students. Try it out. You will have good result for that. Okay. Then, I would only say, concluding, that skimming will help you in not only preparing for your examinations, but also it provides you with a lot of information within no time. It will help you gain lot of command over the fluency, accuracy, and the understanding of the language, contents, alphabets, and also it will make you sync according to the modulations, stress, intonation, and all the important entities to make you perfect in the communication skills. While scanning help you to grasp the instant answer for your questions and also enlightens you to become active. Scanning makes you active. Within no time, you have to find out a word. You can try this. You can make this habit. You can also make the activity of scanning the books. Just make a phrase. Think about a word. Just give time to yourself. In how much time I am going to scanning this word and find the answer. This will surely help you. So skimming and scanning are the most important techniques for you in reading skills, which will not only enhance your ability in speaking and writing, but also develop your communication skills, which will also help you in your professional growth and also survive in this very fast-paced global market around you. So, thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.